Do you snack on nuts every day thinking they're good for your heart and aging well? You're not wrong, but here's the part most people don't know. 5 popular nuts can actually harm your health, especially if you're over 50. Some may contain hidden toxins like cyanide. Others might carry cancer-causing mold, and a few can silently raise your blood pressure or damage your heart over time. If you regularly eat almonds, raw cashews, or peanuts, you need to hear this. Stay with me. What you learn in the next few minutes could make all the difference to your long-term health. Part 1. Bitter almonds. The hidden danger. Lurking in a healthy snack, almonds are one of the most beloved nuts in the world, praised for their high content of protein, fiber, vitamin E, and healthy fats. But there's a lesser-known variety that's not only unhealthy, but potentially lethal: bitter almonds. Unlike the sweet almonds we commonly eat, bitter almonds contain a compound called amygdalin. When consumed, amygdalin is converted in the body into hydrogen cyanide, a substance that is highly toxic to humans. Just a small number of bitter almonds can result in serious side effects. Origins and uses of bitter almonds. Bitter almonds come from a different variety of almond tree, Prunus amygdalis var. Amara. These almonds have a sharper taste and are traditionally used in small amounts to flavor foods, such as in almond liqueurs, marzipan, and some baked goods. In their natural state, however, they are not safe to eat unless thoroughly processed to remove their toxicity. In some parts of Europe and the Middle East, bitter almonds are still sold for culinary and medicinal purposes, though the sale of raw bitter almonds is banned or heavily restricted in countries like the US, Canada, and Australia due to the cyanide risk. How amygdalin becomes cyanide. Amygdalin is a naturally occurring glycoside. When the almond is chewed or digested, the enzyme beta-glucosidase breaks down amygdalin into glucose, benzaldehyde, which gives almonds their aroma, and hydrogen cyanide, the dangerous compound. Hydrogen cyanide interferes with cellular respiration by inhibiting cytochrome C oxidase, an essential enzyme in the mitochondria. As a result, cells can no longer use oxygen efficiently, leading to tissue death and potential organ failure. Symptoms of bitter almond poisoning. The signs of cyanide poisoning can appear within minutes after ingestion and include nausea and vomiting, abdominal cramps, headache and dizziness, confusion and weakness, shortness of breath, seizures or coma in severe cases. Just 10 to 12 raw bitter almonds could be fatal for a child, and 50 or more for an adult, though sensitivity varies. Older adults may be more susceptible due to reduced liver function and slower metabolism. Documented cases of toxicity. Numerous case reports have linked bitter almonds and other cyanogenic foods, like apricot kernels, to acute cyanide poisoning. In one instance, a 55-year-old woman who consumed homemade bitter almond cookies experienced nausea, low blood pressure, and required hospitalization. Analysis of the almonds revealed dangerously high levels of amygdalin. In another case in Europe, several people were hospitalized after ingesting bitter almonds purchased at a local market mislabeled as edible. The amygdalin controversy: cancer cure or danger. Amygdalin, also known by the name Letril, or incorrectly called vitamin B17, has been promoted in alternative medicine circles as a natural cancer treatment. However, there is no scientific evidence to support these claims, and clinical studies have shown that Letril can be dangerous. In fact, the U.S. Food and Drug Administration banned the use of Letril in the 1980s due to its toxicity. The American Cancer Society and other medical bodies warn that consuming amygdalin supplements poses serious health risks. How to stay safe to protect yourself and your loved ones. Avoid any product labeled bitter almonds, amygdalin, or Letril. Do not consume apricot kernels or stone fruit seeds unless they are certified non-toxic. Read product labels carefully, especially in international or online food markets. Stick to certified sweet almonds from reputable sources. If you're unsure about an almond product, skip it. No snack or supplement is worth risking cyanide exposure. Final thoughts on bitter almonds. Almonds are a health-boosting powerhouse when they're the right kind. Bitter almonds, on the other hand, contain a hidden danger that's especially concerning for adults over 50. As the body ages, its ability to detoxify harmful compounds weakens. That's why even small exposures to toxins like cyanide can have larger effects. Stick to sweet almonds, check labels carefully, and avoid products that make bold health claims without scientific backing. Being informed is the first step toward being safe. Almonds are a staple in many healthy diets, but bitter almonds, unlike their sweet counterparts, contain amygdalin, which turns into cyanide when digested. Just 10 to 12 bitter almonds can cause poisoning symptoms. People over 50 with slower metabolism and reduced detox capacity are especially vulnerable. Stick to certified sweet almonds and avoid products labeled with bitter almonds, amygdalin, or letrol. Part 2. Raw cashews. The surprising risk hiding in a popular nut. Cashews are a favorite snack for many people, especially those trying to eat healthier. They're rich in healthy fats, magnesium, and plant-based protein. But there's a hidden risk you should know about, especially if you've seen packages labeled raw cashews. Cashews naturally contain urushiol, the same toxic resin found in poison ivy, poison oak, and poison sumac. Urushiol can cause severe allergic reactions in sensitive individuals, including rashes, swelling, itching, and even gastrointestinal issues if ingested. Why raw cashews are not truly raw? In truth, cashews sold as raw in stores are not actually raw. They have been steamed or roasted at high temperatures to deactivate urushiol. Truly raw cashews, those harvested and shelled without any heat processing, are highly dangerous and are never sold to the public in most countries. The shell of a cashew nut is surrounded by a double-layered hard outer shell filled with a caustic liquid that contains urushiol. Workers handling raw cashews must wear protective gloves and equipment, and even then, many suffer from burns or skin irritation. Processing and safety standards. Cashew processing usually involves steaming the nuts to soften the shell, shelling them mechanically or by hand, roasting or drying them again to remove any lingering toxins. International standards set by organizations such as the Codex Alimentarius Commission and FAO/WHO Food Safety Guidelines recommend strict limits for urushiol residue in final products. Countries like the US, Canada, and members of the EU require that cashews undergo this detoxification process before being sold. Unfortunately, in some countries or online markets, cashews labeled as raw may have skipped or inadequately completed this detox process. This increases the risk of allergic reactions, especially in older adults with weakened immune or digestive systems. Documented health cases. There are documented cases of people developing dermatitis or severe intestinal symptoms after consuming improperly processed cashews, especially when purchased from unregulated online sellers or foreign markets. In a report published in a dermatology journal, a 63-year-old woman experienced blistering rashes after eating a raw cashew snack purchased at a local market. Effects of urushiol on the body. If ingested or touched, urushiol can trigger contact dermatitis, rash, swelling, blisters, burning sensation in the mouth or throat, gastrointestinal upset, nausea, cramping, or diarrhea. Systemic reactions in people with high sensitivity. Older adults are especially at risk because their skin barrier function and immune responses weaken with age. Also, their digestive systems may have more difficulty metabolizing trace amounts of toxins. How to choose safe cashews. Stick to brands that clearly label their cashews as steamed or roasted. Avoid cashews from unknown or unverified sources, especially online. If you're highly sensitive to poison ivy or similar plants, consult your doctor before consuming cashews. Refrigerate open packages to prevent spoilage and mold. Final thoughts on cashews. Cashews are nutritious and delicious, but only when processed properly. Truly raw cashews are not safe for consumption due to urushiol. Always buy from reputable brands that follow food safety regulations. Being informed about where your food comes from and how it's handled is especially important after age 50. Your body's natural defenses are changing, so make food choices that support your long-term health, not threaten it. Snack smarter, live healthier, stay safe. Cashews naturally contain urushiol, the same toxic compound found in poison ivy. That's why truly raw cashews are dangerous and are almost never sold directly to consumers. Even raw cashews in stores have been steamed to remove toxins. Improperly processed or unlabeled cashews can cause skin rashes, gastrointestinal distress, and in rare cases, allergic reactions. Buy only from trusted sources. Part 3. Moldy peanuts, the hidden cancer risk. Lurking in your snack bowl. Peanuts are a popular, affordable source of protein and healthy fats, but they also come with a hidden danger: aflatoxins, a group of toxic compounds produced by certain molds, especially Aspergillus flavus and Aspergillus parasiticus. These molds thrive in warm, humid environments and can grow on peanuts both before and after harvest. How aflatoxins cause cancer. Aflatoxins, particularly aflatoxin B1, are classified as Group 1 carcinogens by the World Health Organization. This means they are known to cause cancer in humans. When ingested, aflatoxins are metabolized in the liver, where they can form reactive compounds that bind to DNA. This causes mutations that can lead to liver cancer, especially hepatocellular carcinoma. The risk is even greater in people with pre-existing liver conditions or chronic hepatitis infections. For older adults whose liver function may naturally decline with age, exposure to aflatoxins becomes particularly concerning. Additional health effects beyond liver cancer: long-term exposure to aflatoxins has been associated with impaired immune function, stunted growth in children, if consumed by pregnant or breastfeeding women, chronic inflammation and oxidative stress. Even low-level chronic exposure over time can be harmful. How to check for moldy peanuts at home. While not all aflatoxin contamination is visible, some warning signs include a musty or sour smell, discolored or shriveled peanuts, a bitter taste, spit them out immediately. Store peanuts in cool, dry, airtight conditions to reduce mold growth. Avoid buying from bulk bins that may be exposed to air and humidity. Global risk differences. The risk of aflatoxin exposure varies widely across different parts of the world. In the United States, the risk is considered low because the FDA strictly regulates aflatoxin levels, allowing no more than 20 parts per billion, ppb, in food products. The European Union has even stricter regulations, capping allowable aflatoxin levels at just 4 parts per billion for ready-to-eat nuts. In contrast, regions such as sub-Saharan Africa face high exposure risks due to hot and humid climates that favor mold growth, combined with inadequate storage facilities and limited regulatory enforcement. Similarly, parts of Southeast Asia experience medium to high risk due to heavy peanut consumption and varying levels of food safety oversight. In areas lacking proper storage or agricultural controls, aflatoxin levels have been found to exceed safe thresholds by several 100%, making vigilance and testing essential for public health. How to protect yourself. Buy from reputable brands that test for aflatoxins. Store peanuts in a sealed container in the refrigerator. Avoid peanuts with an off smell or odd texture. Limit intake of peanut butter from unknown sources. Consider substituting with tree nuts, which are less prone to mold. Final thoughts: peanuts can be a great part of a healthy diet, but only when they are properly handled and tested. As we age, our bodies become more vulnerable to cumulative toxic exposure. Aflatoxins are silent but potent threats that can undermine liver function and overall health. By choosing safer sources, storing wisely, and being alert to the signs of contamination, you can still enjoy the benefits of peanuts without the risk. When in doubt, throw it out. Your liver will thank you. Peanuts are highly susceptible to mold growth, especially from Aspergillus fungi, which produce aflatoxins, potent carcinogens. Long-term exposure, even at low levels, can lead to liver damage and increased cancer risk. People over 50 should avoid bulk peanuts and store them properly. Choose brands that test for aflatoxins and avoid peanuts with bitter taste or moldy smell. Part 4. Rancid walnuts. When healthy fats turn harmful. Well, walnuts are rich in omega-3 fats, particularly alpha-linolenic acid, ALA, which is highly beneficial for heart and brain health. However, These polyunsaturated fats are also extremely fragile. When exposed to heat, air, or light, they undergo a chemical reaction called lipid peroxidation. In simple terms, the healthy fats start to oxidize and go rancid. This oxidation process leads to the formation of harmful compounds such as lipid peroxides and aldehydes. These unstable molecules can cause oxidative stress, a condition where there's an imbalance between free radicals and antioxidants in your body. Oxidative stress is strongly linked to aging, inflammation, and chronic diseases. For individuals over 50, who often already deal with reduced antioxidant capacity, this becomes a more serious concern. The body's natural defense systems, like glutathione and catalase, decline with age, making it harder to neutralize these toxic byproducts. How to identify rancid walnuts? Rancid walnuts don't always look different, but there are clear signs: a strong, bitter, or paint-like smell, an unpleasant, sour, or metallic taste, a rubbery or overly dry texture. Eating even a small handful of rancid walnuts may not make you sick immediately, but over time, consistent exposure to oxidized oils can damage your cells and contribute to heart disease, cognitive decline, and even some types of cancer. Long-term impacts on heart and brain health. When consumed regularly, rancid fats can contribute to atherosclerosis, hardening of the arteries, increased LDL, bad, cholesterol, inflammation of blood vessels, decline in memory and cognitive processing. One study in aging adults found that diets high in oxidized fats were associated with a higher risk of stroke and age-related dementia. These effects are more pronounced in people over 50, especially those with existing health conditions or nutrient deficiencies. How to protect yourself: buy walnuts in small quantities. Store them in the refrigerator or freezer in airtight containers. Choose vacuum-sealed packaging when possible. Avoid buying from open bulk bins with high exposure to light and air. And finally, taste a small piece before using them in recipes or snacking. If there's any bitterness or off flavor, toss them. It's not worth the risk. Fresh walnuts can support heart health, improve brain function, and provide essential nutrients like magnesium and vitamin E. But once rancid, they go from superfood to potential hazard. Snack smart. Protect your health. Know the signs. Walnuts are rich in omega-3 fats but spoil quickly due to oxidation. When rancid, they lose nutritional value and generate harmful compounds that increase oxidative stress, potentially leading to heart issues and cognitive decline, especially in older adults. To avoid rancidity, store walnuts in airtight containers in the fridge and discard any with bitter or paint-like smells. Part 5. Oversalted pistachios, the sodium trap in your snack. Habit salted pistachios can contain 200 to 300 milligrams of sodium per serving, contributing significantly to daily limits. For adults over 50, excess sodium raises risk of high blood pressure, kidney damage, and heart disease. But did you know it can also harm your kidneys and bones? Impact of excess sodium on kidney and bone health. As we age, our kidneys naturally lose efficiency. High sodium intake forces them to work harder to filter out the excess salt. Over time, this can contribute to reduced kidney function, increased risk of kidney stones, elevated blood urea, nitrogen bun levels. Additionally, excess sodium causes the body to excrete more calcium through urine. This loss of calcium can weaken bones and raise the risk of osteoporosis, especially in postmenopausal women and elderly men. A high sodium diet also decreases bone mineral density and interferes with calcium absorption. Comparing sodium content across brands. The amount of sodium in pistachios can vary widely depending on the brand and how they are prepared. For example, popular brands like Wonderful Pistachios offer roasted and salted varieties that contain around 280 milligrams of sodium per 1 ounce, 28-gram serving. Meanwhile, brands like Seton Farms have similar offerings with sodium levels as high as 290 milligrams. On the other hand, lighter options, such as Kirkland's lightly salted pistachios, contain about 135 milligrams per serving. Whole Foods 365 brand offers a lightly salted version with approximately 125 milligrams. For those looking to avoid added sodium entirely, Trader Joe's provides an unsalted pistachio product with 0 milligrams per serving. Clearly, making the right choice in brand and preparation method can significantly reduce your daily sodium intake, a crucial consideration for those managing blood pressure and kidney function after age 50. What you can do: opt for unsalted or lightly salted pistachios. Stick to a 1-ounce serving, about 49 pistachios with shells. Balance sodium intake by eating potassium-rich foods like bananas, leafy greens, and avocados. Drink plenty of water to support kidney function. Enjoy the benefits of pistachios, fiber, healthy fats, and antioxidants, without the added salt. Smart snacking means reading the label and protecting your long-term health. Salted pistachios can contain 200 to 300 milligrams of sodium per serving, contributing significantly to daily limits. For adults over 50, excess sodium raises risks of high blood pressure, kidney damage, and heart disease. Instead, choose unsalted or lightly salted versions, stick to 1-ounce portions, and pair with potassium-rich foods to balance electrolytes. Enjoy the benefits of pistachios without the salt overload.